What's good? Happy Juneteenth to everyone out there. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. The Onora boys are definitely in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
What's your coffee drink, Left? Nigga, because I've never had coffee in my life.
Yeah, me neither until I got introduced to it. But I only like one coffee. It's a iced coffee with double the classic and half and half. It's pretty solid.
Iced coffee, double classic, half and half. So are
Check
you a
that
are
out.
you are you a snob? Are you a Starbucks snob?
I get it when it's available. I'm not really like, oh my god, I gotta get one. So if it's just in the routine, it's in the routine kind of thing.
I asked because the missus tried to get me to break ranks this weekend.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, I, I'm not drinking coffee. It's not happening.
Yeah.
She has an ice machine. She
Hmm.
has her own Keurig. She creates her own stuff at home. And it's like, man, she is a coffee snob, period.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Because I actually bought her some coffee from a Dunkin' one day. And she just threw it right in front of me. She just threw it in the garbage.
That's
I was
disrespectful.
like, yo, I took the time because I don't understand the severity of coffee allegiance.
It can get crazy.
All I know is America runs on Dunkin'. That's what the commercials say.
You got caught by the marketing
I got
scheme.
caught by the marketing, Left. I definitely got caught by the marketing, man. We hope everyone had a great Father's Day weekend. We're going to talk about the final rankings and what everyone has to say and the feedback the Left got from the Elite 11. It's funny because I talked to a couple of people offline and they kind of agreed, like, man, it sounded like you guys were kind of down on CJ Friday. And I said, no, I'm not just about to sit up here like you and say that he's a 5 star with no flaws. I'm like, dude, I'm not about to elevate this dude like, oh, Notre Dame has the greatest quarterback since Trevor Lawrence. We don't do this on that show. We don't do that. We're gonna tell you the truth. We're gonna tell you how we feel. And the first 2 days of competition, we were absolutely ecstatic as a show with the way he represented and the way he competed. That was the most important thing for us. It's like, yo, go out there and compete. Because if you're in the top four normally at the Elite 11, that's going to transition you well to your next stop in Division One college football.
Right. And I got a chance to catch up with the Elite 11 guys the day after the tournament because we had a tournament. And our sentiments were right. CJ Carr is a pretty good guy, pretty good talent, but he's a guy that's going to need guys around him to really flourish on a supremely high level for us to be that championship tier, which I thought. But they said, yeah, I mean, he's good. He can make some good throws. He does some good things, but he's going to really need, in order for him to be the guy that some of us think he is, to have those Cam Williams and Isaiah Cannons and Tobias Merriweathers and top guys around him to be, that 10, 11 win team that we can be. But as a standalone, he's not a Trevor Lawrence. He's not the savior of Notre Dame, but he is a quarterback that can be really helpful to what we're trying to do as a team. We're not a team built like Clemson where they're power driven by their quarterback, and when they're not power driven by their quarterback, they're a regular team. We've been able to uh, create a great system where our team is really good, and with the right pieces, we can take those extra 1 or 2 game leap. But from a team standpoint, we're going to give you a very balanced diet of just about everything you can handle, which makes us not only tough every year, but that's tough to deal with on a week to week basis, which is why our biggest games teams get a bye before they play us because they need 2 weeks to kind of take in everything that Notre Dame is going to give you because we're not just a one-sided threat when it comes to playing us on a week-to-week basis. So you're going to have the run game solid, better than average. You're going to have enough of a pass defense to hold us off from not getting big plays off. But now it's even harder now that we have a bigger pass threat and still a constant run threat. Defense has a lot of different things they do on the aggressive side that you got to plan for. So it's not a secret that the bigger teams that play us have to have a bye before they play us because it's a hard game. But also for us to know is that getting a guy like CJ is same as getting a guy like Sam Hartman. He's not the answer as an individual, but he's definitely a nice piece to add when you're trying to build something in totality.
And we read from my guy Ryan Garcia, who John Garcia, I'm sorry. Ryan Garcia, I'm talking thinking boxing. John Garcia, he talked about the Elite 11 proved that the 24 class was a little bit better than most people thought. They knew
Oh, the
that
league, yeah, that class is good.
Dylan Raiola was a star. Aaron Nolan was a star to a lot. I saw a lot of people on the Irish breakdown, message board trying to, say that CJ Carr is better than Aaron Nolan. And dude,
no, they say Aaron Nolan, man, he's the real deal, man. Lefty, shout out. I mean, I was a big fan because he's left-handed, but they said that he's definitely a Tua with a better arm, sort of how I was,
yeah, he is definitely
pop on it, man. And that's a
all about
wow factor that CJ's not
yeah.
going to wow you with anything that he does from just watching him work out. You're gonna be like, oh, this is a good quarterback. But there's things about the Dylans and the Aaron Nolans that it's like, okay, that's the Julian saying. Like Julian saying, got a chance to see him in person the day after, and it's just like it's like he's not physically imposing dude where you're like, oh, that's Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola's he's like, oh yeah, that's a dude. Julian Sand looks like the kid next door, man. But when he's on the field, man, he's running things like he's the president. So, there's different traits that guys have. CJ has a very welcoming, guys want to play with them. It's an effort, remember the Titan style kind of thing. But from oh my gosh, like I need to go Jordan Addison, go transfer and play with Caleb Williams in my last year. I don't think it's something like that either, though.
So the top four, according to John Garcia, are definitely Julian Sane, who won the competition the most,
Right.
Dylan Raiola, CJ Carr, and Aaron Nolan. So the fact that once again, see, that's all we asked. That's all we asked going into the competition. Get into the top four and compete. That's it. Notre Dame does not need CJ Carr to be a savior. They don't need him to be a savior. Notre
No.
Dame has not built their program like that. And you need Notre Dame to elevate the quarterback situation in the quarterback room, which has been done via recruiting. But in order for Notre Dame to win, it's truly going to be a collective effort.
Yeah, it's just definitely, from where we are as at the quarterback position, it's a collective effort. Um, and that's okay too. I think it's you can lean on that more than leaning on, oh, we got Deshaun Watson where we know he'll carry us, but it's hard to replace that when he's gone. They got struck lightning twice, got a Trevor Lawrence after that. But after Trevor, you can see that even with a 5-star, as good as they want him, they think that they want him to be, it's not easy to catch, generational quarterbacks like that. And the team is reflective of that. It's not that Clemson wasn't good, but when you have that nuke in the back, it's just like, yeah, you can get away with a bunch of pistols. Because at the end of
Man,
the day, you
man.
drop that nuke on you.
That's like the little brother talking trash because he has a bunch of big older brothers behind him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I can beat your little brother up, but then you call your big brother, it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
So, we can beat up little DJ, freshman DJ, never wet behind the ears, we can beat him up. But they called, the big brother Trevor in there. and it was a totally different game. Now fast forward, no Trevor, still a pretty good Clemson team, but we have a better team, from a all around, standpoint that day. And it showed. It's just hard when you got guys flashing like Ben Morrison on defense, along with an aggressive defense that we had, and then the running game being styled and mixed with, your one or two big play passes, which came in handy, making
Hmm.
clutch situations. So it's just a tough game plan week to week for teams, but having a CJ Carr is a nice step towards getting to that championship tier, but it's not the end all be all answer.
And that's 2 consecutive years that Notre Dame gets a player that went into the Elite 11 competition and outperformed what people's expectations were coming in. Kenny Minchie did the same thing last year, originally being committed to Pitt going into the competition,
I
coming
think
out of
Kenny
it.
Mitchell is a little bit bigger of a story because
Mm,
he wasn't going. I didn't even know. I'm not gonna say
hmm
who he was, but I thought he was somebody else. You know?
hmm
CJ, they kind of know CJ coming in as a bigger time player with, obviously he got legacy, so it's just a different dynamic. I think, if anything, Kenny's more of, I'm not gonna say underdog. He doesn't think he's underdog, but the narrative going in as an underdog. I mean, you call in the school to see if they still want you. We got CJ to commit after the camp, so it's just a different story narrative going in. But I think it'll smooth itself out once we get to school.
What else can you give us other tidbits as you get ready to kind of sew this whole Elite 11 thing up? Tidbits about Dylan Rayola or the other guys that were in the range of 5 to 8 that seemed to perform well, but they just couldn't get over the hump and get close enough to edge out the top four guys that we've been talking about.
Yeah, the good thing about a competition like Elite 11 is that when you get into that final round and those final days, the consistency really shows who's ready for that long haul, in a sense. Because I mean, you're with the top guys, and even with the top guys, you got a lot of guys that have hot flashes. That you like, wow, they do some great things, but day 3 or 4 is like, okay, let's hit this out on time. Let's hit these plays on time. Let's get in the red zone, be decision makers, and good at that. And, it takes a lot of work to be like that. But guys like Julian Sand and Dylan Rayola, that aired as advertised, those how you know who's the cream of those crops. I say the other guys aren't good. Those guys will develop. I mean, they're young, but it's just it's a tough outing. And I think for CJ to just be consistent, we're not saying he's got to win it. We're not saying he's the most this and that, but to be in the mix is exactly what we need him to be for us. Keep us in the mix. And damn it, if we get a 5-star receiver, or we'll come along those one or two players, maximize, and then we'll be where we want to be.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. The Trevor Lawrence type, is that a fit at Notre Dame? Those once in a lifetime generational quarterbacks. I think about that. Like, I'm sure Trevor Lawrence, if he had come to Notre Dame, would have won a lot of games. That's not the
Come
question.
on, we made Brady Quinn, uh,
Mm,
quote unquote Trevor Lawrence for us, and the two weren't the same. So just imagine a
mm.
actual Trevor Lawrence. It would be better than any college football story around.
That
So
would be an unfair Heisman.
yeah, it would be an easy Heisman. We'll win it. I mean, it would just set the stage on fire. That's why I wanted to go there. I was trying to do that, because it's such a slam dunk. I mean, come on. So that's why it's also an opportunity where it's a pressure where a lot of guys, even top guys, don't want that type of smoke, because all or nothing. It's all or nothing.
Do you think, did you take it that way as a quarterback? Do you think these youngsters look at Notre Dame and say, yo, that's still the brightest spot in college football, the quarterback of Notre Dame? Like,
Yeah,
regardless of what you say about relevancy, that's still, that spot is still
but you
piping
gotta
hot.
think too. It's like Notre Dame's not recruiting a Dylan Rayola necessarily, not recruiting the Trevors as hard as these other schools. They just resign to the fact that they'll just go to the Ohio State or Ohio State type shit. And it's interesting because you know look at the type of quarterbacks we were recruiting before. Brandon Clark
Mm,
wasn't no number one quarterback in the country.
mm.
We didn't even recruit Caleb. So damn, I know we didn't recruit no CJ Stroud and no Bryce Young. And if we did, we wasn't working hard enough for him. So outside of not even offering the top five, I mean, Tyler Buckner became a 4-star top guy after we offered him. And even that was like a find. It was like, ooh, like, we was one of the bigger offers of his offer list. It wasn't like he was just rolling in the offers like these top guys that we knew before. So
Mm.
us not even offering some of these generational talent, like for instance, Deshaun didn't have no Notre Dame offer. So
That's not shocking though. Just knowing the background, the family background. See, that's one of the things that really upsets me at times when we start talking about no, and I'm not fast forwarding like playing out Deshaun Watson's life as an
right.
adult to try and take it back to why he wouldn't have been a good fit at Notre Dame. That's childish. We can do that.
We're not
I could put everyone's life under a microscope and bring up 2 to 3 reasons why you wouldn't be a good fit in whatever situation. My thing is the fear factor for me. This is my question. If you're gonna go get a top notch kid, that top notch kid has to be willing to accept, yo, you're the guy. Hey, we're looking at you to end this championship drought. That's the way it is right now, bro.
yeah, we
At this
don't
point,
preach. Right, we're not preaching to no top quarterback like that. It's got to be a thing where a guy comes in unsuspectingly and rises to the top. Very similar to what I was able to almost do, but you're not getting that narrative. And when you do, is usually a guy that's like, it's Ian Book like. Ian Book was good in high school and all that, but it's just like not the same. So that's why it's the same as like, for instance, talking about choosing not to win a championship.
mm,
Notre Dame, if they really wanted to, they can secure the top quarterback like they do the top tight end every year if they wanted to. If they narrated the story of our program is built quarterback based like Ohio State, like Clemson, and
mm-hmm.
we're not shy about it. We're not going to act like he can't be the man in the face of the program. He can be bigger than the brand if he's that good. Because I mean, you look at USC. That's Caleb Williams and the Trojans. C.J. Stroud was Ohio State and the Buckeyes. Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State. So it's like Clemson was the Clemson Tigers with Trevor Lawrence. It's like it's not afraid to let the quarterback be the face of the school. And if it's focused like that, you would get the attraction of a top quarterback going in and stuff like that. It's just what is a top quarterback attracted to about Notre Dame other than it just being a premier program from an offensive side? They don't see the production of the quarterback being a Heisman guy or this, that, and the third. I think we had a stretch where, you bring an Ev in, that was attractive to me. I thought Ev had a lot of potential for that. And it brought in good guys like me and Deshaun and Brandon who were capable. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a lot that goes into it, and also the ability for the school to show that they can play guys early. That's another thing. You don't have enough guys that make splashes and have enough room to kind of build their career out as a young guy. Like a perfect example of how we could have structured that right is if we put Tyler Buckner in there early. If to show, okay, we got a top quarterback behind, and we believe in him so much, he's going to play, and we're going to have the urgency for him to play like we did, like Caleb did at Oklahoma. And you can start forming that. And look at Caleb splashed. He got in, he splashed, and he just took off from there. Tyler Buckner had to go through all type of games and packages and baby spooning, and it just harmed that groundswell of X factor that he had. He started overthinking and hesitating, and now you washed. You lose that instant factor. Like when I started, nobody knew what I was going to do. I knew what I was going to do, but nobody else knew what I was going to do, and I didn't have enough bad habits. I wasn't thinking like, oh, they're going, I got to watch out for this and do this and this, or I'm gonna get taken. It was like, man, listen, I'm only getting one chance. Nobody knows what I'm gonna do. They want to put Ev in. Damn it, I'm gonna go in there and shake it up, throw some deep balls and run around. Like, fast forward, it's hard to think like that when it's like, okay, I had to go through 30 practices of psychological warfare, not knowing if I'm a play or not. I'm overthinking the plays because I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying to make everything about doing it right in practice. Now I get in the game and it just doesn't have any it factor to it. So I think you gotta throw your young kids in there, especially at the quarterback position that you believe in. I mean, if we recruiting guys that we saying, yeah, in 2 or 3 years they'll be all right, that's not what it's gonna take to get to that next level. Look at Clemson. Clemson had a great structure. Kelly Bryant, 15-2, coming off of a playoff against Bama, everything great. They said, listen, this kid we got though, he's gotta play. And everybody's gonna hate us and talk stuff, but listen, just trust us. We believe and we're gonna do it. And look what happened. And look what happened. It was at an inconvenient time, though. Kelly Bryant threw a touchdown, and they just threw Trevor, and they threw another touchdown. They said, oh, shoot. But Trevor, Trevor at that time, he's like, listen, I know I'm a five-star. I'm going to get in. I'm not overthinking much. They want me to play. They recruited me to come here. They said I was going to play, and I'm going to do the damn thing. And so he played free. And I think when you play like that, it can help. Look at Brandon's career. He goes in there, gets an opportunity, and then how does it go backwards? It's great. And then second year, all of a sudden now you got whispers, you got guys want to play over you, and now the play calling's changing, and now it's like, what's going on? So Notre Dame just has a funny way of doing it. But if they ever got it right, tight end U would be QBU, and it wouldn't even be fair. Oh, you know me.
In my estimation, Love is still one of the sexiest positions in college football.
100%.
Quarterback of Notre Dame. Dude, you say it, and all of a sudden it's like, man, who is that? What does he do? What is he about? You instantly want to know about him. Hey, Drew Pine led Sports Center for transferring, bro.
Like,
Like,
you gotta be a dude. Think about it. A lot of these dudes don't want the spotlight either. You're not going against a warm up Fullerton or Sam Houston State or Montclair Community College. Your first 3 games, you had Notre Dame.
mm,
So that record, just like boxers don't want to box all the time because of Floyd Mayweather. At Notre Dame, you got to damn near be undefeated. As soon as you get on the field, that clock is you gotta be undefeated, bro. Or your season is irrelevant. Nobody gonna pay attention to you. And every week is a game. It ain't no, warm up. It's we kicking off with Texas. Then the next week we got a Georgia Tech early, early in the season where they looking good. That's your warm-up game with Georgia Tech. Then we're gonna throw a Purdue at you. That ain't no easy game. And then, by the fourth game, you got a big game. Ohio State or Georgia, whoever, Florida State. Now you like you got to be in mid-season form.
Mm-hmm.
So the first four games can put you in Heisman watch before anything else. CJ got to win the first game against Notre Dame and the last game against Michigan to get the Heisman. Notre Dame shit, it's every week. But if you clearing, there's unanimous decision. You're the Heisman. Unanimous. It's a you go to New York by yourself. Ain't nobody sitting next to you. You win outright because everybody would know that you was on national TV every week, so everybody got to see you. You showed out. You played in primetime games, Heisman moments every week. Every week. Think of 2015. If Deshaun beats a Clemson, who was top 5, beats a Stanford, who was a top 10 team, runs the gamut, Deshaun winning the Heisman without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a question. So it just shows you, man, you really got to be that guy. So I think that, it's like being the president. It's the hardest position on the planet. And on top of that, it's also like the president. If you do well, you can move like the president. It's endless amounts of luxury you get. Like, I'm on CBS this year. I'm excited about that. And that's Notre Dame product. So I think that when you get the opportunity to go, you can't even think twice about it. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to be a dude to want to go. When you get these guys that grow up their whole life wanting to go, that's an easy decision, but they ain't got the it factor. It's just like, yeah, you just living your dream. But you ain't these top quarterbacks that ain't thinking Notre Dame since birth, but they the top quarterback in the country. You got to bring them in. You got to make them think Notre Dame is the only school.
Yeah.
To lose Dylan Raiola to Georgia when Georgia just started getting hot, like, come on. If Georgia, this is Georgia 5 years ago, Dylan Raiola, number one quarterback, not going to Georgia. But 5 years ago, we were the best team. We were the top 5 team in college football. So just how fast things can change. We was good during that whole period. Think about that. We've been good for the last 12 years. Well, since 30, yeah. Well, yeah. The last 12 years, we've been a 10-win team. Just about. 9, 10, 11-win team for the last 10 years. And we can't get a Dylan Raiola or a Caleb Williams or a Trevor Lawrence or Bryce Young or a CJ in 10 years of winning 9, 10, 11 games. Georgia just started winning. They're babies to what we're doing.
But think about it. Georgia played 2 highly competitive games against Notre Dame in that time frame, and Notre Dame had a chance to win without a big time quarterback. Both
Think about it.
games.
Clemson, when they were at their hottest, they got 2 generational quarterbacks during that time.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
lost that. Fast forward, Ohio State kept knocking out generational quarterback. Justin Fields, we lost that. Dwayne Haskins, we lost that. CJ, we lost that. Alabama in that time didn't get a Tua, didn't get a Jalen Hurts, didn't get a Bryce Young. What? These are all available guys. All of these guys were available. But at that time, we didn't have none of the guys that's been winning championships, and we've been in the competition the whole time. We're not like a Washington who just got hot and got a Michael Penix Jr. who's a transfer. Like, we've been better than Washington. Washington's been a pretty consistent team, but we've been better than that.
Mm.
Like, think about it. We've been better than all of the teams that just got Michigan. We've been better than Michigan consistently the last. They just started winning like this when they beat Ohio State. That's 2 years ago. And they got JJ McCarthy. How did we lose that? UCLA just got a 10-win season this last year. And they get Dante over how? Tennessee just started to win last year. They get a Nico Emu. How? Texas still not good. Get a Quinn Ewers and an Arch Manning. How? How? USC just started getting good. Get a Caleb Williams that transferred from a different school. How? So I think it's important that Notre Dame has the best model around that's set up for a guy to really blow up the scene. The last 10, 12 years, we've had the winningest quarterback of all time with no accolades after that. How do you do that? How do you have the winningest quarterback of all time in a span when you're winning 9, 10, 11 games each year, been to a championship, been to 2 playoffs, and have your quarterback have zero accolades? No Maxwell, no Heisman, no college football player, no nothing, no New York trip, no MVP finalists of nothing, no first, second round, nothing. That's crazy. But the teams that have been winning it, that we've won just as much, we're like Alabama without the accolades. Literally, we probably, we haven't won as many games, but we played as late in the year as Alabama most years. Hell, we played them for a championship one year. So I don't get it. Hell, even Coach Kelly, when he left, got a good quarterback. I would take a Jaden Daniels and feel pretty good. We'll mess around, win the whole thing over Sam Hartman. I would take a Jaden Daniels over Sam Hartman. And hell, Jaden Daniels will transfer. But we call Keaton Slovis. Like, come on.
Keith Slovis said it was the first phone call.
The first. We ain't even caught, man.
Oh man.
So yeah, if somebody can, that's why I'm like Kenny Minchie may be the one. Because the story is just too good for it not to be. I'm telling you, can't be a top guy going in there because we just not good with that. Hell, Gunner transferred. He didn't even get to the season yet. So Kenny's got the best story. He called up there, said, "Damn it, I'm tired of seeing y'all not have no top guy, or at least act like it, or feel like it, since Malik. So I gotta go up there and get y'all boys right." Under, nobody really knows. He might pop on the scene. It's a good setup for it. Hell, Angeli may pop. Who knows? But it's begging for a Caleb Williams type of quarterback to be at Notre Dame. We need to replace the Brady Quinn helm. Not that Brady Quinn doesn't deserve the credit, but he just eating up the fame. Still eating up the fame.
Dude, at this point,
no Heisman, no rings, no change. And it's like, okay, yeah, if you had the rings and things and the accolades, it would make sense. But for it to not be there and we treat you like the man, just imagine what the man would do if he was winning that. We'll put a statue up. It would be like you think you see Brady Quinn jerseys now, you would see whoever that jersey is for the rest of time. For the rest of time. And many have tried. Rick Meyer tried. It's tough. He's supposed to be Peyton Manning for Peyton Manning. It's tough. It's not easy. Scar some guys for life. I haven't heard Deshaun talk about football since Notre Dame or since Cleveland. Shit, he want to be Elon Musk or something. You know, it scars Ev. I haven't heard from Ev since Notre Dame. Shell since Florida State. He off somewhere in Narnia. Hell, Brandon don't even want to talk about football. You know, his dudes be scarred for real.
Wow.
Rick, shit, I was talking to what's his name? Ron Paulus. He said for a while he ain't look at football. Like he only started coming back into football because his son wanted to play. He was done. So it just shows you that Notre Dame ain't no place where, listen, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks coming back too often. You'll see Ian come back because but you'll see Brady come back. But you don't see Jimmy coming back. Hell, you wouldn't even think Jimmy went to the damn school.
Facts. Facts. If it wasn't for that photo shoot on the West Coast this summer,
and they was like,
Shaun got, like, oh snap, they got Jimmy in the picture.
Word? Yeah, it's like think about that. Just like Jimmy, just imagine getting Ev in the picture. It's like, wow, you got Ev in the picture.
And last I heard, Ev was in Chicago. That's the crazy thing.
And would never step foot in South Bend. You couldn't pay the man to go to South Bend. He gonna be like, for what? And we talking all alumni now. These ain't guys that didn't graduate. I can understand if Gunner don't come back, but hell, shit, Hendricks ain't been back to Notre Dame. And if he is, he probably was sitting like a regular fan in the stands or something. Like dudes don't want to. Dudes are not out here claiming the quarterback of Notre Dame if you're not Tony Rice, Brady Quinn, or hell me. And I ain't even play that much. So everybody else, you can't even find them. You can't. That's so crazy. You can't even find them. When the fact
that we got Brandon to come and talk,
and Brandon was mad talking. He didn't want to talk about it.
Right. The more he started talking about certain things, you could tell it started bringing up things. You know, when Brandon said we had 3 NFL quarterbacks on the roster when I got there, and none of us made it.
It's crazy. Hell, Tommy's still scoring. I think Tommy's scoring for real. Tommy was never the same after they did Ev and Tommy the way they did 22. Tommy was not the same. Hell, Jack Cohn don't even talk about us that much. And we gave Jack Cohn life. We literally gave Jack Cohn a career. He don't even mention us like that. So it's like it is not. It's literally not meant for everybody. You either be the man, or you just be scornful. You don't see Notre Dame putting up retiring no quarterback jersey like Louisville did Lamar. Lamar just got done playing for Louisville. They retired that man jersey on the spot. When last time Notre Dame been around longer than any of these schools? What quarterback we putting a ring on? None.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Hopefully, Kenny Minchie and CJ Carr have begun to turn the corner for Notre Dame as they matriculate and left. You're happy.
Wait, hold on. Only quarterback that comes back, that's like, man, I love being back because hell, Brady don't even come back that much.
Well, Brady's making that guap, so you know.
Is Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann loves coming back.
Yeah, he's always coming back.
Oh, other than that, Notre Dame quarterbacks don't go back. Ron Paulus only came back because he worked there. But before that, he didn't visit Notre Dame. He was scarred.
Hey, Rick Meyer doesn't come back.
Hell no.
Joe Montana definitely doesn't come back like that. That's crazy.
None of them do.
And I don't know, there's something to that. The relationship with Joe Montana, I don't know if it relates to like his son and his time there or whatever, but
I'm telling you, listen. It's something to it.
hey man, look. It is still, in my opinion, the sexiest position in all of college football, man.
It's like biting the apple off the tree.
And it has to come with a lot of pressure. And unfortunately, CJ Carr might be willing to accept the challenge, but the challenge is the challenge, my man. That you're
it's the King Arthur sword of quarterback play.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, we were begging for a quarterback to come, and people ain't. If it was such a sexy position for recruits, we would be chomping at the bit. But there's only few guys that really, it's either dudes that want to take on the challenge or lifelong fans of Notre Dame. That's it. There's not no dude that's just like, oh, I got a lot top 5, Tennessee, USC. No. It's either dudes that got baby pictures with Brady Quinn jerseys or family that love Notre Dame, or a dude that's like, I just want to take the challenge on because I know I can hit the top.
Mm-hmm.
But you either become
let me school drunk Vigo for a minute from the area of sales and marketing. It's a reason why Kodak cameras are famous again. It's a reason why kids love them again, even though they have digital phones on their digital phones with all types of cameras. You know why? Because they're original. Yes, they're still sexy. Yes. There's a reason why when Notre Dame has news at the quarterback position, news outlets break out all over the world. You know why? Because it's the sexiest position in news. And it's the sexiest position that makes money in advertising and sales. So you can learn a little something. Has nothing to do with wins and losses. It has everything to do with the money people and how they respond to it. So you let Notre Dame get a big time quarterback.
Hell, look at
Phil. Watch how the news outlets respond.
Look at Phil.
Dude,
Phil couldn't
it's
even
like people understand it has nothing to do with the past. That's why Notre Dame is still relevant. And they haven't won in 35 years. Because they're Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're Notre Dame. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? My daughter has the biggest camera. She has a Kodak. She has an iPhone. And as soon as the Polaroids came back out, she's like, Daddy, yo, can you get me one of these Polaroids? Why does that intrigue you? Why? Because authentic. It's original. And everybody wants to be connected to something that's authentic and original. You know why? Because it can always sell, no matter what. No matter what. It can always sell. Notre Dame can always sell. You don't have to sell Notre Dame. Just put somebody in the place that's doing something. Dude, Josh Adams had a truck of 33. Josh Adams, bro.
You damn near gotta have you gotta do all the ritual stuff at Notre Dame quarterback for it to be successful. Like you gotta wear 3. You gotta wear the certain long garment. It's a real ritualistic position because it's too much bad stuff that happens around.
Bro, they were trying. No, you don't live in reality because you obviously don't understand business. But they were trying. The news cycles were trying to create Heisman buzz for Ian, bro.
And it couldn't do it.
And he didn't have the numbers, and they still were trying to create a reason to get him to New York. You know why? Because he's the quarterback of Notre Dame. Can you imagine if we shot 1/4 of the Heisman show based around Notre Dame
It would
and
go
Notre Dame's
crazy.
quarterback being there?
And
Can you understand the
don't
ratings?
let us be a clear choice either, because it'd be the whole
Absolutely.
thing would be Notre Dame, the whole thing. We'd start playing
Absolutely.
1942 and all type of old
It's
footage on
hilarious.
Notre Dame and running back the greatest all time Notre Dame
It's
on
hilarious.
the high. It would be crazy.
It's
We would
hilarious.
have, and if we wanted, we would have every Notre Dame dude standing on stage with the quarterback, and
Thank you.
they might
Thank
put a
you. Thank
leprechaun
you.
hat on the Heisman dude.
Thank you.
But are you
It's funny. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, they would have.
Like, and
They would
this
have
is the funny
nobody
thing.
next to the dude.
You brought up Kodak, which is a terrible example because you would be terrible at debating. Kodak is like popping right now. You're the one that brought up Kodak. And Kodaks are selling out all over the world because kids want them. So don't get mad because your example was horrible. It was a horrible example. Horrible. Yes. My daughter is still putting Kodaks up around her college room right now as decoration. I don't care how far you get in technology, nothing will ever be more authentic than film. In art, nothing. Nothing. And if you can't understand that, and I'm trying to give you a hint of the business, the inside from a news perspective, where I worked for over 10 years in the third largest market, I'm trying to explain to you how people think and view Notre Dame still as much as they hate Notre Dame. I'm talking about they'll get in the boardroom, they'll walk around the offices. I can't stand Notre Dame. Notre Dame is this. Notre Dame is that. Let Notre Dame catch a heater. Let Notre Dame be undefeated. Everybody sending their news guy down to South Bend. I need you to go get an exclusive. I need you to go get this. I need you to go get that. You know why? That is easy. They tried to force a Heisman candidacy on Ian Book when the numbers weren't. Come on, bro. They were like, we have to find a way. Is there any way we can get him to New York? It's like, what are we talking about, man? This fan base, bro, some of these fans, bro, are so broken. You need to go see a doctor, bro, a therapist. Because you're so broken and despondent over what's happened on the football field that you fail to realize that cat Jack Swarbrick is walking away beating his chest for what he's done from a business standpoint in the brand. Like, Jack Swarbrick is actually laughing, walking to the bank, ready to go take over a professional team. He's laughing because he knows, man. He's like David Shaw when he realized he was about to win last year. Remember that wry smile David Shaw had? But David Shaw was like, man, I'm actually about to get out of here with a win. That's Jack Swarbrick. Like, yo,
Right
I
before
actually
it
got
did.
this done. I actually got this done without winning a national championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have to win a national championship in college football, and Notre Dame is still relevant and hot. Still relevant and hot.
A pump and dump.
And it's like Bama and Georgia laughing at what? Dude, the money people at Notre Dame don't care about Bama and Georgia? That's the problem. The money people at Notre Dame don't care. They laugh at Bama and Georgia like, dude, y'all can have all the championships. We still have more of this. We still have a better financial ranking. We still have a better academic standing. They don't care. Because if they cared, they would invest in NIL. They would invest in everything else like Georgia. Like Les said, if Notre Dame wanted to blow Georgia and Alabama out of the water as far as investing, what was that list left? If I'm not mistaken, Georgia invests over the last 3 years, 5 years, I think Georgia has invested 4.6 million annually in recruiting, something like that. And they were a million more invested than Alabama, which is crazy. But what else does Georgia have? They don't have any other sport. That's the only thing they have. That's absolutely the only thing they have. I think that woman, if I'm let me be fair, they do have a really good they have a baseball program that's not at the top of the SEC, but it's okay. I know their women's gymnastics team for a while was really good and battling with Florida. But other than college football, what does Georgia have? Now you come into a Rubik's Cube of Notre Dame from business standpoint. See, Notre Dame can literally say, we keep making billions and we don't have to win a football championship. Who else can say that in the SEC? Let Georgia and Alabama go 35 years without winning a championship and watch what happens to donations. Watch what happens. Just watch. It's the gift and the curse, man, as a Notre Dame fan, right? The fact that knowing that your school is not totally interested in going all in to make sure that you win, right? But at the same time, that's really not their main concern. Winning the national championship was what number was winning the national championship on Jack Swarbrick's list left? Was it third? I thought it was fourth.
Yeah, it was down there. It wasn't
It
one.
was third, fourth. Yeah, it wasn't one. So that's crazy. And the fact that Georgia spends 4.6 million in recruiting. Man, you're not. That's insane, bro. That's insane. What are you about to do against that? What are you about to do against that? Alabama's at 3. What what are you what? People in Notre Dame are having meetings across this country, in other countries, dealing with world issues,
Yeah, we
financial
talk about
markets.
yeah.
There's whole so many things going on besides football when it comes to the power structure in Notre Dame. Man, Georgia and Alabama don't have to think about that. They don't. They just don't. They don't. They don't. So that's why I understand, or I've come to, I have my national championship left. So I've come to the understanding that, especially from talking to guys like you that have been on campus, like you, football player on the campus of Notre Dame, you're not special. You're not like, you don't get treated like other football players around this country. Because there's an heiress to this, there's an heir to that. Everybody around here is connected to money in some way, form, or fashion. Man, it's a different breed. It's just different, man. It's different. And as soon as you accept it as a fan and stop begging Notre Dame to do things like everybody else, it's like, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. But that Kodak was a horrible example, though. That was horrible, especially right now. That was bad. That was big time bad. Lucky Lefty podcast. Did you get a gift for Father's Day? Left?
I don't really believe in the gift thing, but I got a chance to spend some time by myself.
You know what? You know what's funny? What's funny is I got a gift. So this, I don't know, man. Look, when I was dating my wife in high school, right? I'm a huge jazz fan. So I used to have these cassette tapes that my grandfather used to give me, right? And I had this tape of John Coltrane playing in the car. And on the flip side, it had a Tribe Called Quest or whatever.
Hmm.
So One side was Tribe, the other side was John Coltrane. So somehow, some way, my wife got it, and long story short, she taped the Coke 9 and 9 over my John Coltrane. It was almost a deal breaker. Yeah, we almost didn't make it. And you know what I'm saying? We almost didn't make it. We almost didn't make it. This is a true story. We almost didn't make it, bro.
That's serious. Yeah, no, no,
You
no.
know, and she was like, "Who is John Coltrane?" I'm like,
Ooh,
"Oh."
made it worse. Just making it worse.
I'm like, "You are not cultured. You are not cultured, dog. I don't know what's going on right now." So,
Where am I at?
man, so we're sitting there, and yesterday she buys me an old school record player, and I pull out the vinyl, and it's John Coltrane
Mm.
vinyl. And she was like, "Man, I hope this makes up for what I did years ago." And the fact that she remembered it, I was like, "Yo, that's dope." I was like, "That's dope." I was like, "That's dope. This is one of the coolest gifts I've ever got." And then the second gift that I got is that left. We talk about it all the time, man. You got your two little guys. You got a lot of life in front of you with those two guys, man. My little girl called me from the beach yesterday, and
Said, where you at?
she called me to make sure I got my gift because she had sent me my gift. And I said, "Yeah, thank you for my gift." And she's standing there and she's like, "Well, I'm about to go because I'm going surfing."
Mm.
And I'm like, "You going what?"
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, "Man, I'm thinking sharks.
She
I'm
got
thinking
the
everything."
she got them USC fans, man.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Like, you going
Sir.
surfing. And I get off the phone and my wife says, "You're a pretty cool dad." And I said, what do you mean?" She said, "The fact that you've given her a life to where she could experience things like that, you did your job." And I was like, "Dang, I guess you're right." I mean, that's our job as parents, right? To give opportunity to our kids. We can't ultimately decide what they do with it, but you
That's
just
right.
want to put them in position to. I'm sure some things your boys are going to experience, and you're going to be like, "What? Why are you trying that?
Yeah.
What do you do?" And I was like, "Yo, you know what? That is pretty cool." I was like, "Yo, you know what? I appreciate that." And
That's
she
right.
sent me videos. She was actually able to stand up. She was actually able to
Whew.
stand up on the board yesterday, bro. Of course, I'm still thinking sharks and all that stuff, bro.
Yeah, them
So,
USC fans, you do different stuff.
but it was cool, man. It was absolutely amazing, man. So, yeah, I hope everyone had a great Father's Day, man. My wife paid down her debt, even though it was like over 30 years. But yo, I haven't put it on yet, but I'm gonna listen to some John Coltrane sometime this week. And now I've been looking at vinyl all weekend, bro. I just been in shops just looking at vinyl, like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
what
got
can
a
I buy now?
new collection.
Yeah. She was like, "Yeah, you gotta get you a crate." I said, "Hold on, I'm not DJing.
Yeah.
I'm not DJing, I am a consumer. And when you have a vinyl collection, it goes on the shelf.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You find you a nice shelf.
More museum like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. We hope you guys enjoyed the weekend. Once again, happy Juneteenth. Thank you, Jason Smith. Exactly. Thank you. Jason Smith said vinyl and film. Yeah, who knew? Who knew that vinyl and film would still be popular in 2023?
That's right.
Who knew? Who knew? Lucky Lucky podcast. When we come back, Left is happy. Left is happy. He's very happy. He got a commitment this weekend. He's like, yeah. he's,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, yeah. And then we're gonna talk about Marcus Freeman is meeting with the media, right? You're going to see stories coming out over the next week or so when Marcus Freeman is meeting with Athletic or blueandgold.com and all the outlets, Irish Breakdown, because this is when all the outlets get their one-on-one. And we're going to see what he's talking about and how he feels. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know we spin it different. We're back right here, Lucky Lefty podcast. There was some buzz in recruiting this weekend. Kingston, the man, the linebacker that is a must get in this class for it to remain an elite class and a top 5 class. He was on campus with his family, Kingston Milamuasa, and the young man really, as I said last week, USC, they pulled out all the bells and whistles for the young man on his official visit. And you can say they closed the gap or impressed the young man, but ultimately I think it comes down to Notre Dame and Ohio State. He is a young man that, gives me the impression that he wants to get away from that normal pipeline that is California, Bosco, go to USC. He wants to niche his own story. And Ohio State and Notre Dame will help him do that. Max Bullock was mentioned by the young man, the linebacker coach. Not officially the linebacker coach, but he's coaching the linebackers. Um, that's very important because when it comes to the linebackers, you're going to need someone to step up and help out Al Golden when it comes to recruiting in that area.
Max Book's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a pretty solid player, too.
Yeah.
Darn good coach. Came from over at Alabama and seems to be doing it. I'll say this. He's doing an amazing job with the freshman class. That's just from me watching him and practice. He is an absolute amazing attention to detail hawk when it comes to these freshmen. He is not allowing them to get away with anything. If there's anyone having to repeat reps, it's the freshman linebackers. Everybody else, man, he's calling them on the spot. Like, yo, get back here. Do that again. And I love that. That's the type of coaching you want. And I'm glad that the Notre Dame linebackers are getting that. Malcolm Ziegler, big time safety. You broke down his film last week, Left. He was on campus. My guy Brian Roberts over at Irish Breakdown caught up with him. Yo, big time kid, very versatile. You pointed out, fast, looks more like a linebacker, and he could go from safety to rover at Notre Dame. But with all of that being said and done, it's going to be a battle to see if he can get out of the Carolinas and whether or not he ends up in Notre Dame. And then, I have not, just so you guys know, because I know people are wondering, I have not spoken to Justin Scott since he's arrived back home from his visit to Miami. I probably won't speak to him until sometime during the middle of the week. I'll get the lay of the land, and if I have some tidbits, we'll talk about it at some point during the show.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to jump on him too quick. Some kids didn't like that,
Huh? So Marcus Freeman met with the Athletic, Left. And we've said Marcus Freeman ever since the decision has been made and made public that Jack Swarbrick is going to be stepping down has been a little bit more vocal, to say the least, bro. It is amazing how much he's beginning to open up and talk. What is your biggest impression from Marcus Freeman going into year 2? Like, what's the one thing you would tell fans this is what you need to hold on to and be confident in?
I think one thing, he's just more comfortable. I think
Yeah.
he's more understanding of where he's at, and obviously an uptick of more attention than what Brian Kelly was causing at the head coach position. I didn't know he had that many resources. So, Marcus Freeman is really getting into the bells and whistles of what it's like being a head coach at Notre Dame. And I think at the end of the day, his confidence and comfortability is going to reflect on the team and is going to look more organized. And I think it's going to allow him to be more involved in the games and more lively. And I think we'll see more of a character develop in Marcus Freeman as well as the team. So the identity of the team, I think, goes with Marcus Freeman. And in a year two situation, I think it'll fit more of what the personality and vision of what he set out to be in year one. You can see come in fruition in year two.
Man, I love the fact that I think at some point during year one, he recognized I need to switch gears. Like this isn't working. My original plan, the way I thought it was going to play out, this isn't working. And he had the confidence to say, look, I need to take a little bit of a detour, do things a little bit differently. And I'll take the hit for it. But I have to get this back on track. I have to be honest about this situation. I have to be honest about the quarterback room. I have to be honest about recruiting. I have to be honest about everything that's out of whack. Because if we don't get this right and correct it, it could get worse. And for him to recognize that without, just playing it out, some people could say, man, it's my first year. They're not going to fire me. I'll wait till the off season. This is like midstream. He was like, no, we're not going down this road. We're not doing it. We're not doing it like this. So that took a lot of guts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That took a lot of guts. He had a Q&A in the Athletic, and I want to. He was asked about feeling indebted to Jack Swarbrick, and this is a little insert. He's been amazing just in terms of support. He'll give me suggestions and leadership, never plays, never X's and O's, just leadership ideas. Some I utilize, some I don't. But to have that person there that has been so successful, so experienced, is really what I'll miss the most. I think the situation, to say the least, um, to say the least, I think mm, would it be safe to say uncomfortable?
Yeah, you don't want a micromanager around you all day. I think that's kind of where Marcus Freeman obviously appreciates what he's done for him, um, and the things that he set up for him when he didn't have to give him the opportunity, obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's like damning with faint praise because you still was like holding my hand the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I'm grateful to you, I'm kind of like happy this is a good transition to where, you can go do your thing
Right.
and then I can really do my thing and not have to, so I appreciate your words of advice and your written speeches for me. And like he said, I took some things I said and then some things I wasn't
Right.
saying.
Right. That
Uh,
that stood out to me in that quote.
and so I do think it's it makes it even more apparent that he's trying to get on the Pete Provocqua train a little early and establish a relationship. And for a guy like Marcus Freeman, he can see what he likes and doesn't like.
Yeah.
He can see what he likes and doesn't like. And now he can coach better because of it. Because now what things to steer away from and what things, like you say, take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Man, I can agree with that, bro. And I think the opportunity comes at a perfect time. The transition comes at a perfect time. I tip my cap to Jack Swarbrick for understanding the assignment, right? Because everybody can't step away at the
Right.
right time, right? Everybody can't step away at the right time, and some people hold on. But he understood the assignment. He did what he was supposed to do. I'm sure he wanted to win a national championship during his tenure. He didn't get it done. But what he did do was firmly establish Notre Dame in a lot of different areas to move forward successfully
Right.
into the future. So, one more question from the interview he had with the Athletic. You spent a little bit of time with Pete Mavako at the Kentucky Derby. Now, see, this is something. Remember, they all went to the Derby
Yeah.
and you saw pictures and everything. This is when, behind the scenes, people knew what was getting ready to come down the pipe. And he said, I got to know him for the past year, actually. Spent a lot of time together last summer at NBC. That was maybe the first time I met Pete. And then he came to a lot of our games and we spent time together at our night games. We would text back and forth quite often. We spent a lot of time together at the Derby. It all makes sense now. I remember talking to him last week. I said, you knew at the Derby. He said, yeah, I wanted to tell you so bad, but I couldn't. But we spent a lot of quality
See,
time together.
I don't like that.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you like that?
Yeah, I don't know. You got double agents around. Let me know what's going on. You spending all this time with me, you not knowing you really
Right.
stuff. You really collecting data on me or whatever. And
Say keep it funky.
like I really wanted to tell you. What else you really want to tell me, Mister
Right.
Aqua? Y'all.
Right.
But I think it was kind of writing on the wall because Coach Kelly apparently had a burner account, but just like Jack Swarbrick saw the writing on the wall, I think Brian Kelly and Jack kind of colluded together on their exit, considering they're like, listen, we've been able to rob the bank and not face no jail time, and we can go out as heroes.
Mm.
You can be the winningest coach of all time and not win a championship and be remembered in a good light coming off of 10 win seasons and all this other stuff.
Uh-huh.
No statue, but you be the winningest coach of all time and you can go get $100 million. Jack is like, listen, you do that and then I can hire the young guy that everybody likes, settle these couple TV apparel deals, and then dip before NIL get crazy. And we can make off like bandits and ride off into the sun. And so those plans had to probably be kept under secret.
Uh-huh.
But I think Marcus Freeman knew the inside. I think Tommy knew the inside. That's why Tommy was so ready to hop on planes and take visits all over the place.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. That's for sure.
Asked, looking back, was he picking your brain before all of this? What did you guys talk about?
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman. We talked about the season. We talked about how we're navigating through NIL, transfer portal, and all these different questions. There was an element of getting to really know each other, like having in-depth conversations about who we are. All this time, I didn't know Pete played football at Notre Dame. I knew he graduated from Notre Dame, but I didn't know that he was a punter for Lou Holtz, and that's something that I never knew. It was really good to recently learn that. Look, I think Pete was trying to form a relationship and to kind of let me play devil's advocate.
He probably said, am I gonna keep this?
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. I think Pete Bavak was very aware of the trickiness of certain situations at Notre Dame without getting too deep into it. There were some things surrounding Marcus Freeman that most people would deem not cool in comparison to how other coaches were dealt with. And in doing that, you have to understand that people of Aqua, I really think try to get a feel of the head coach to say, man, what type of person is he? Gun shy? Is he this? How is he reacting to this? Because I know what he's dealing with. Like I know some of the foolishness he's dealing with. Let me find out how he's dealing with these things. I need to talk to him about NIL. I know how he feels. I know how Jack Swarbrick feels. I understand this is something I'm going to have to help Notre Dame move into the future with. Let me get the lay of the land and really get his true feelings on these things. At some point, like he said, I do believe Pete Babaka want to go ahead and be like, yo, just so you know, man, this is what's up. But but I do think he was trying to give Marcus the intention or the impression that he has an ally. Not a boss, Left, not a boss, but an ally. That's different. Okay. That's different.
Not like undercover boss where you go in there and see if he gonna bash on Jack Swarbrick and say some crazy stuff, and then
I just don't look. There was some like I said, the situation where Marcus Freeman is hiring, the way certain things went down, it was not the best, bro. The Andy Ludwig thing, it was not the best. Certain people that are around the program, whether or not they're viewed as eyes and ears.
Oh yeah, you definitely got eyes and ears.
For the 8, that's what I'm saying. It's not the best, bro. And in knowing this, Pete Babaka comes in, and the first thing he wants to do is establish a relationship. Like, yo, this is me and you. This is me and you.
I mean, that sounds good. But...
And hopefully you don't have to worry about, hopefully you don't have to worry about in-betweens. I'm not interested in trying to find out information through somebody else. I've been coming to you this whole year, and I intend to continue to come straight to you for my answers. And that is good to have an ally.
I hope he is an ally. I think Marcus Freeman could really use that.
Absolutely.
Just because you need some backup in the challenges that you're facing with everybody else not at the university. You need to be fighting on two fronts,
and it's all about styles, right? Because I'm not saying this to be critical of Jack Swarbrick, right? Everyone has a way and a style by which they do the job. Jack Swarbrick, I don't think Jack Swarbrick ever viewed himself as an AD that wanted to be super close to his head coach.
That's just like Brian Kelly, never super close to his quarterback.
Absolutely. So that's just the way things were. So that was his way for him to be effective as an athletic director. That's the way he saw him carrying out the mandate and being successful. And that's fine because some other people can be more personable. Some other people can actually be an ally in a certain way. And that's not to say, from in many ways, I believe that the word was supportive, right? In the article we just read, Marcus Freeman felt supported. He felt supported, especially from a leadership standpoint. He mentioned that he took some advice, and some advice as far as leadership, he was like, all right. So, but to go through this process, to spend time, he has built up a relationship with Pete Bavacqua without the backdrop of him being his boss. You understand what I'm saying? It's almost like you being really cool with somebody without the backdrop of a relationship. Y'all just built a man.
Right.
And ain't no pressure of a relationship. We just cool. We super cool. We talk honest about everything. Man, I can trust you. I feel like I can trust you. That's the foundation of a good relationship. Now, let's add the actual titles on top of that relationship that already has a foundation and hopefully ends up being positive. I think it will be, man. I really do. And the fact that he was coming in asking him about NIL, that was the main question. Like, man, so how you navigating this NIL stuff?
Yeah. He's
Because
like, man, who cares?
I'm all for any initiative that people of Aqua has to solve this NIL situation.
Yeah.
Like, however you want to spin
I
it,
feel like that's the main thing.
you know.
I feel like that's the main thing.
You know. And last but not least, when he was asked about the first season, this is what I love. He said, I learned so much about myself. Question, man. Man, how do you audit the first season? I learned so much about myself and I became a better coach. That's it. That's it for me. That's it for me. No excuses. It's not like the old guard where you point the finger at somebody else. Heaven forbid, it could never be me. I could never be the reason why we didn't get the job done. Marcus Freeman's like, yo, that's on me. Marshall, that's on me. Stanford, that's on me. USC, that's on me. It is what it is. But I'm left. I am encouraged. I am definitely encouraged by this relationship.
Yeah.
Between Marcus Freeman and Pete Bavacqua. I am.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's going to be something that they get on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a father-son relationship. It's more of like a partner relationship in a business.
Yeah.
It's still 51-49. But at least it ain't 70-30 like it was. Christ.
Lucky Lefty podcast. How you feeling about this Phoenix trade as we get ready to get out of here, Left?
I don't know. The way the Nuggets put things together, if they just got a solid team throughout, I feel like you're just going to be hard to beat. Because, having Aaron Gordon is just like having Andrew Wiggins when Golden State was winning. It's like it's not your best player where all the fans will be like, man, that's the piece that's going to solve it. But when you're in the playoffs and you just see an Andrew Wiggins or a Bruce Brown or Aaron Gordon getting 11 and 7 or 20-point game, you're like, damn, they got a team.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the way the Lakers got to do it. Who knows?
I think there is about to be extreme panic across the NBA. The buzz about Zion Williamson. This is when I laugh. The Hornets hold a top pick, and the story is that New Orleans wants to trade with the Hornets, and the Hornets are like, we prefer Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I would too.
And I said, I said that's the dumbest thing in the world.
What?
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
What's
Because as the new majority owner, I'm not coming in trying to win a championship. You're not winning a championship in Charlotte in the next 5 years. I'm coming in trying to sell tickets.
Oh, okay.
I would take LaMelo and Zion. Man, you know how many tickets I would sell with Melo and Zion for the next 5? Are you kidding me?
Nah, that's smart. Nah,
Right. Left. It's blockbuster. It's blockbuster.
Easy sale.
Easy sales. Easy. Build myself up to the point where now I can have assets to actually build a championship team. But until then, let's get these people through the turnstiles. You telling me you're going to give for a first round pick? You gonna give me Zion Williamson that I can package with Melo? Man,
Yeah. That'll be
whatever, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all marketing, bro. And and people. This is funny. Brandon Ingram has missed. I think it's something crazy. Over the last 3 seasons, Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson have both been in the top 10 and missed games. So while people are talking about how many games Zion Williamson missed, Brandon Ingram has missed just as many games over the last 3 years. Not as many, but he's missed a lot. Like when Zion was carrying, when New Orleans was like second seed and Zion was carrying them, guess who was not playing? Brandon Ingram. So it is, dude, they act like Brandon Ingram is some dude that plays like 80 games a year.
Definitely not.
No. And for me, I'm talking about from a business standpoint. I'm not even talking about basketball. Man,
Yeah,
I would put.
It's the same reason why the Browns got Johnny Manziel.
Man, I would put posters of Melo and Zion up. And Zion is from Carolina. Oh, yeah. Dude.
It'll go crazy.
It'll go crazy. What are we talking about?
I don't really have a problem then.
What are we talking about? I just bought the team, bro.
Yeah.
I have to, man. I just spent $3 billion. We're gonna have to start getting this money in. And Brandon Ingram, people not coming to the turnstiles for that dude.
No,
they're not. Unfortunately, and that's not to say I'm not sitting here debating who's the better player. That's not. I understand why New Orleans would much rather give up Zion. I just don't understand Charlotte not seeing the opportunity to be like, yo, we can pair these two for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Make a ton of money. Be on national TV.
They tripping for sure.
Man. They might not get to the playoffs, but hey.
We're gonna have some packed houses, just like the Nuggets have been for a long time. They pack out every house even before they won the championship.
And they built it the right way. I think it's amazing that both Jokic and Murray started on the bench together. That's an amazing story.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were both drafted. They came off and played together on the second unit, and they both were elevated. You know, it's a great story, man. It's a great story. Look, Dame Lillard is rumored to be going to Miami now. I think it's just a lot of panic. The Bulls are talking about moving Zach LaVine. I told them to do that 3 years ago. So it's about to be some movement.
Yeah,
it's about to be some movement, and you can literally see a team. You know what does Golden State do? See, I'm very interested because Draymond declined his offer and is a free agent now.
Wow.
So he's only restricted free agent. So now I'm very interested in seeing where Draymond goes. Does he go back to Golden State cheaper? What does Golden State do? Do they just depend on their youngsters? Andrew Wiggins getting healthy?
Well, I heard they was complaining. The young dudes, DiVincenzo, Kuminga, Moses Moody were complaining they wasn't getting enough time. So James Wiseman, so who knows?
I mean, in order to get better, you have to play.
Right.
That's any sport, anything you do. If you're not going to get the opportunity to play, then what are we really talking about? So yeah, I just don't. John Massey said Golden State needs to dump Jordan Poole. Hey,
right?
Hey, man. But if you allow Zion to go back home, keep a close watch on him, man.
Oh man, it's even gonna be worse. Because now all the high school shorties that he wanted.
Oh, left. Don't say it.
Crazy.
Don't say that, man.
You thought the girls he couldn't get.
Don't say that, left.
When he got to the league, just go back home and get the girls he had and wanted you and all. Man, what?
Don't say that, love.
It's gonna be bad for him. But he's still young, man. 23. He's living his dream. So
Man, our heart condolences and prayers go out to our guy Dexter Williams, man, who unfortunately got injured this weekend,
mm,
and it didn't look too good. Hopefully, he can come back and get back to playing. He's playing really well in
he
the
was.
USFL. He's playing really well. So, and I never got your thoughts on the intramural tackle league being done for at Notre Dame, bro.
Soft.
Soft.
Soft. Terrible.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, man. Go follow us. You know how we do it each and every day. We give you the audio edibles. We keep it funky, man. We keep it funky. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petticoat Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey, NoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, and NoraWhiskey.com. Who you got in the petty train, love?
Man. Probably put on the petty train. Our first daycare kid. Just opened a daycare at the house. First daycare kid was tough, man. Not gonna lie. It's different when they're not your kids. So the whole experience was just like, I think I put myself on the petty train just because I didn't know I wasn't ready for what I wasn't ready for. So maybe I'm petty, but the kid's even more petty. So how about that? Teach your kids to listen. That's terrible. I hope that it's not a. Hopefully, some of y'all can feel me on that. But man, I think it's it definitely takes a community to raise a kid. But if they're not your kids, you need more than just a community. You need a couple people, a nanny, get you a nanny involved. Because you can't treat kids it's not your kids like your kids and how you would treat them for real.
Man.
So it's fun until it's not fun. But I like the experience. I want to keep doing it. Obviously, it's just, man, you got to get the right kids to get to the daycare. Maybe I do an interview process, maybe a test run. But Jesus Christ.
Woo, boy, you are definitely being developed in the area of patience, my brother.
You think until you have somebody else's kids that really test you. If you all about the kids.
See, it's very similar for me when my nephews and nieces come over and they spend the weekend, and it's like, like, fam, is this how you all are allowed
what you do
to
at
move?
home? What you do at home? This is listen.
They allow you to move this way?
Yeah, man, because it's been wild. Be like, you either you do this at home or you not at home, so you ready to try stuff not at home,
Right. Right.
It's not the experiment house. I need you to if you're gonna do that, have a good cleanup about you. Have a good cleanup time. You can
Man.
play. So I said grand opening, grand closing. No, it's open still, but man, we got an interview process.
You got an interview.
We got a filter system going in place. A defense system. How about that defense?
Dude. Oh, this kind of left is out here defining fit now.
You gotta fit in all areas of life.
Now, wait a minute. What's more important? The interview of the parents or the observation of the kid?
See the
'Cause
parents.
you should have a 24. You should have a one visit observation before you commit to a kid.
The parents only go as far as you let them. Because it's, for instance, we had the kids show up between 4 to 9. It's a good time.
Okay.
Okay, the next day you go 2 to 9. Okay, a little early.
Okay.
Still. Next day you 10 to 9. Oh, you here. You enjoying the day.
Right.
Next day, you texting us, you here. It's 6 in the morning. See, I don't
Like, wait a minute. We got to find.
We got to find the right hours. We said we open, but I don't know about the 24 hours,
Right.
Because now it's like, oh, you just want them to just be over here. It's one of them things. You just
Right.
You just want them to hang out.
Now you've replaced us. Now we're your iPad.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Instead of
we the
giving your kid the
iPad.
iPad, you bringing the Uncle Lefts.
The kid go home every day with some food and a bunch of good stories. How he got to having all the fun, and so the parents are like, "Oh, you must want to go over there earlier and earlier," And so it's a learning process. You definitely learning yourself. Of what hours you like and what hours you don't like. It before it's 24 hours, no big deal. You get in and see, it's a mix. You gotta have the hours with the right.
So shouldn't there be like a 6-hour shift every day? Like these are the 6 to 8 hours where your child would be here. You just can't stretch it out to like 12 and 13. Like that's
we started. This is our last week was our first test run week, so we tried to find the right times and stuff. But man,
now you start talking about 9 o'clock in the evening, boy.
You now with a good kid. Not that the other kid was bad, but with a kid that doesn't have bad habits yet. That's fine. You could be here for a while. We got a schedule. We're a Spanish immersion program, so you get your little como te llamas in there, But keeping kids busy is a whole nother thing. They seem to want to do everything in a day. A couple things here and there, but it keeps you young. It's fun, but man, it's a challenge.
Man. Yo, I don't even want to try. That is absolutely amazing, bro. Hopefully, hopefully we see improvements, man. Hey, let me tell you something, man. That's important. Like, I give all the credit, me and my wife, the first person that took care of our daughter, we give her a lot of credit for our daughter and academically and how she developed as a person. Of course, we're her parents, but her first caretaker, man, daycare individual, Miss Alva, who she's passed since then, man. She was absolutely, man, I would come in and drop her off. Miss Alva would have homemade biscuits ready with eggs and bacon, bro. And would be like, "You want some?" I'm like, man. Yo. So man, it's important, man. So Left, just be patient, bro.
Yeah, that's what you learn. That's what you learn fast. But it's all worth it.
And hopefully, we won't see Left on the front of the newspaper out there.
Oh man, yeah,
Strangling a kid or something.
yeah, because
Yo,
you can't believe how far some of these kids would go.
man, bro. Man, the first time you see one just go in the refrigerator, bro. Without
Yeah, it's
saying,
like some kids need more attention than others. You know what I mean? And
or the first one of the new kids happens to hit Lil Left
yeah,
or
and it's
something
like
like
you got
that.
to, yeah, you like, because you still got to think it's a business now. You want them to keep.
right. Now you out there making decisions like your boy, what's his name, that had to swim past his son to get his niece.
Oh man, yes, decisions that I don't want to think about.
Hey, have a great Monday. Once again, happy Juneteenth. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We're prime time tomorrow. Prime time tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow night right here at Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great day. Most of all, make sure you spend it different.